I looked back through my videos and saw I never made this video. That's not on. Let me rectify that. Hi guys, my name is Ryan Thomas with Veltech, and this is my comparison of the S6 Edge versus the 6S Plus. The 6S Plus will cost you a little bit more at £350 versus the S6 Edge at around £250, and both came out in 2015, so let's get started. The designs are both slim and both have side buttons with a physical home button up front, but the S6 Edge rocks a glass sandwich design compared to the 6S Plus's flat wafer of metal. The IMO doesn't look as classy, but I prefer the look in rose gold because I like the colour pink. Okay, sue me. The glass back on the Samsung does allow for wireless charging, but it also picks up fingerprints fairly easily. The curved piece of glass up front will give you the illusion of a thinner phone, as it actually is, but I wouldn't call that a bad thing. The ergonomics are subjectively down to the size of your hands. The S6 Edge will fit smaller hands better and will make it easier for you to reach down into the corners of the screen compared to the 6S Plus, which is much larger, but arguably makes viewing things on the screen a little bit easier. Talking of the screens, the 6S Plus is rocking a 5.5-inch 1080p IPS panel that is very colour accurate and is the average size of a phone nowadays, which contrasts with the S6 Edge's smaller 5.1-inch 1440p AMOLED panel that IMO just looks heaps better due to being much sharper, and because it's an AMOLED panel, I prefer the colours, the vibrancy, the saturation, the contrast and black levels of the S6 Edge, which is why I would recommend that you go for that if you want a better screen. Although I don't like smaller screens, and I prefer the size of the 6S Plus. I also find the Edge display a little bit gimmicky, and I never use it on my personal S7 Edge. Of course, you do get those Edge display features that can be useful, but I have never found a use for them personally. Though when I had the 6S Plus, I did use 3D Touch more often, which gave you an almost right-click feature, as well as the standard press and hold down. IMO 3D Touch is just plain more useful than the Edge display, but I'll leave that up to you to make your own minds up. The cameras on these phones are phenomenal, with the S6 Edge running a 16 megapixel sensor and f1.9 glass versus the iPhone's 12 megapixel sensor with f2.2 glass. I really enjoyed taking photos with both phones, and I have to say that you can't go wrong with either. Both can shoot UHD video at 30 FPS and both have iOS, which is ideal. Note that you do have to get the Plus model of the iPhone 6S to get this feature. The 6S Plus can shoot 720p video at 240 FPS, which is really rather cool. Just be prepared to lose some sharpness. The S6 Edge can shoot slow motion too, but at half the frame rate, unfortunately. The secondary cameras are similar in spec at 5 megapixels, but the S6 Edge just takes the show here. A wider angle lens will give you a much better experience for taking group selfies where you want to get everyone in the shot and not leave anyone out. The performance specs are very different, but they might surprise you spec heads. The S6 Edge's 8-core Snapdragon 810 and 3GB of RAM are no match for Apple's dual-core A9 in single-core performance, where it really matters most of the time. And its 2GB of RAM isn't so bad either. It will give you a significant performance bump over the Samsung, and that's not all though. For this generation of phones, Apple used faster flash storage interface, meaning that Apple phones were just much quicker. Both will work really well for daily tasks, but the S6 Edge may give you that edge in reading small text due to its sharper display. See what I did there with the Edge thing? In the software department, the S6 Edge gives you heaps more features with its custom skin atop of Android 7.0 Nougat. However, iOS 11 on the iPhone 6S Plus is just better for its speed, reliability, and giving you better battery life IMO. Also, the 6S Plus is likely to run for longer with more support going into the future, with Apple doing a really good job at supporting their older devices. Despite the physical size difference, the much larger iPhone 6S Plus only has a marginally larger battery at 2,750 mAh compared to the S6 Edge's 2,600 mAh cell. You're getting heaps more screen on time with that iPhone 6S Plus versus the S6 Edge due to the software optimization and the fact that the Apple A9 chip consumes less power than the Snapdragon 810. Not only this, but the S6 Edge has to power and drive that QHD screen versus a Full HD one on the iPhone. The speakers are really rather comparable, and they make this review a little bit easier. They're both bottom firing, and they're not terrible, but they're definitely not the best. Both get punchy-ish bass and are both clearer than you might expect. Both are rocking USB 2.0 connectivity in the Micro B form on the S6 Edge and the Lightning form on the 6S Plus. And this was the last iPhone to have a headphone jack, so count yourself lucky. The 6S Plus blew me away for its fingerprint scanner when I first got it, versus the Samsung scanner. The Apple unit was faster, more reliable, and more seamless than I'd seen on any device prior, only being beaten by the OnePlus 3 since. The features on the S6 Edge include fast charging, wireless charging, always on display, IR blaster, and a heart rate monitor, none of which are included on the 6S Plus, so it's really a choice of features or speed and reliability. I know which one I would pick though, the 6S Plus every time for its speed, size, longevity going into the future, and many other things. So which would you pick? Please do leave your responses in the comments below and rate this video based on your thoughts and experiences. Also, please do subscribe if you're new around here, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.